LA 21 12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12682. Offices in Baton Rouge. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a football Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Usually ask you how you're doing, Mr. Hill. We got football this weekend. The weather's perfect. It's Friday. I got a feeling you're doing pretty good.
I'm amazing right now. Look, it's Friday. I feel really great about this football game tomorrow. And look, matter of fact, it's Friday. Let's go with Friday today.
I'm fired up. We're going to bring some energy here for 2 hours. We got a ton to get to. Saints Vikings, a lot of news on the injury front for that one over in London. Going to be an early call for those of you who are diehard black and golds. If you're purple and gold and black and gold diehard, you got to fire it up on Saturday night, get a little bit of sleep, and then crank it back up early on Sunday morning over there from London. Of course, on 1:30 every single Friday, we go through the entire NFL slate, go through our tiers there. SEC gambling picks. Got to get back on the horse. Last week was atrocious, but we'll figure out what we're doing here. It is an awesome football watching Saturday in SEC country. LSU being one of the night games at 6, but from 11 o'clock until LSU kicks it off, you got really, really good football to watch, and we'll talk about that at 2 o'clock. Take it or leave it at 2:30, and as always, our final pick will come up at the end of the show. All right, we talked a ton about LSU and Auburn yesterday, specifically Auburn and kind of where they are at this point. There are some other things that I want to get to today, and I've got some things highlighted, got some notes, got some stats, got some feelings, a lot of things we want to go to, but we're going to start with a soundbite that hit the internet about an hour and a half ago, and it started to run a little bit rampant on the internet. And I asked Jeremy 20 seconds before the show started if he had heard it. He had not, so we're going to get Jeremy's reaction to it right as he hears it firsthand. Of course, Koy Moore came to LSU 2 years ago, was a 4-star recruit out of Rummel, and was on the team for 2 years, the COVID year and last year, had a minimal impact, was certainly out there, got a little playing time. It's a pretty crowded receiver room, and didn't have a ton of success at LSU, not a lot of playing time. So he decided to hit the portal and head to Auburn, Alabama. He is one of their top receivers this year on an offense where their receivers haven't caught a touchdown yet, and they have really struggled to get things moving offensively. But it doesn't seem to have bothered Koy's confidence too much. He's on an internet show of some sort, and they're talking to him about why he transferred. You'll hear the question, and you'll hear Koy's answer as to why he transferred, and it's a little bit of a fire for tomorrow.
Like, what drove you to make this decision to transfer and jump into the portal? Was it just too many guys at the same position, or what was it?
It wasn't even about that. In my opinion, I ain't trying to be cocky, and I was the best receiver in that room.
Okay, now that's that. Listen, because Kayshawn he's nice.
Oh no, I know, and I'm better than him for sure.
My God,
for show, Koy Moore. Better than Kayshawn, best wide receiver in the room. Jeremy, your eyes are quite large. You have any thoughts on that?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Calm down a little. All right, sorry, Koy. Sorry. Oh, my God. I had to control that, man. That was bad. Oh, man. I mean, what do I say to that? Oh, man. All right, poor Koy. Look. I love the confidence, kid. Love the confidence.
Look, wide receivers got some confidence.
Yeah, love it, Koy. But yeah, I don't know what you're sipping in Auburn. I don't know if there's some slobbering juice, or I don't know what's going on in the plains right now. But buddy, you're not anywhere near Kayshawn Boutte. Got to calm down a bit. Look, that Arkansas game. Look, Garrett had a perfect one-on-one fade right there to you. He had a great opportunity to make a play, gets intercepted. Then you leave. It's like, come on, Koy. Calm down a bit, brother.
I'll put some stats on Koy's thoughts. He was here for the COVID year of 2020, all of last season, and he's played at Auburn for 4 games this year. So, 2.5 seasons, we'll call it. And in Koy's career, 33 catches for 341 yards and no touchdowns. Again, 341 yards, no touchdowns. Kayshawn, as a freshman, had 308 yards and 3 touchdowns against Ole Miss. That was one game. So look, Kayshawn saw it, put a bunch of laugh emojis on the top of it. Terrence Tolliver, former LSU receiver, said, "Can somebody remind me who this guy is?" We don't have to pile on Koy Moore here. That's not really the point, but it was a humorous thing that I heard, and I think maybe it got Kayshawn's attention. That would be nice. Maybe it got the guy's attention. I don't know. Auburn has not played very well this year. I don't think there's going to be any sort of lack of motivation on either side, but maybe they got Kayshawn's attention today.
Look, I'm telling you, as an athlete, and I know how we did things there. I don't know how Coach Kelly's done it. If anyone says a slither of, it may be an ounce of negativity. You walk in that football building, they have that on every single wall. It's the printed out paper. It's going to be here. It's going to be here. You can't look around it. Like, they're going to let you know what they said. I remember Florida, they were bumping their gums. They beat us the year before in the swamp. And I think one of their D tackles was talking noise, and then Moffitt made sure the entire building knew exactly what he said going into that game. And so if I know LSU the way I know it, we don't take this thing lightly. I don't care how small the disrespect is. That bulletin board material is got to be everywhere. The team's got to be pumped, firing in this game. And you're just not very good on offense. The last thing you need to be doing, Koy, is poking the bear.
It's one thing if you're Tyreek Hill saying, I want Eli Apple. Okay, you're the fastest dude on the field. I don't think anybody really wants a piece of you. But when nobody in your wide receiver unit has caught a touchdown pass this year, we might want to chill a little bit. And listen, I'll be quite honest. If I'm Auburn's DB room, I might walk over to Koy's locker and be like, man, could you not? Could you just have said, no, I felt like I was a great player there. Maybe didn't get didn't get utilized the way I wanted. I was looking for a fresh start, and I'm thrilled to be at Auburn. Not, I'm better than Kayshawn. Maybe anything except that. That's probably the worst thing he could have said, because now that it's going to light up all the receivers. You hear Jack Best talk about it all the time. We got each other's back. We're ready to go to war. Look, it's a very difficult thing to do. When you're going together every single day, you're battling, you're trying to be great, you're trying to go win something, and you're just around these players every single day. All these guys have each other's back. You disrespect one of us, you're disrespecting all of us. So I expect these receivers to be fired up going to the place. I already felt great about going into this game. Now I hear this I'm glad we got to see your unrehearsed reaction to that. I intentionally, usually when we've got something we want to talk about, we talk about it pre-show, we play the sound, whatever. We're kind of on the same page of how we want to approach things. This time, intentionally, as the clock was ticking towards 1 o'clock with 20 seconds left, I was like, have you heard the Koy Moore sound? And Jeremy's like, no. I was like, all right, well, we'll hear it here in a second. We'll see what you think. Look, wide receivers are a little bit different, and I think it's a good thing when you're an athlete, and it's, I never had it, which is, I'm not even athletic, but this I'm better than everyone, get out of the way. And that's a good thing to have as an athlete, and I'm thrilled for Koy that he feels that way. I just might beg to differ just a touch because I think he'd have been the 6th receiver on this team. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I think anytime you go to Auburn and you're their number one receiver, a guy who's, like I said, and I'm not trying to be too disrespectful, I just put in the Bayou for chat. I'll take Trey Palmer right now over Koy Moore. I'm just telling you that now. You're not even better than Trey Palmer. Thomas, Besh, Neighbors, Booty, even Deion Smith last year. Got it. Yeah, Jeray. There it is. Once again, as is tradition, we forget every single time. And we're talking about an Auburn pass offense that's 103rd in the country, a total offense that's 89th in the country. They're 114th in converting third downs. They've been a mess, and we went through all those numbers yesterday, and that remains the case as we approach game day. There's a lot of other things we want to talk about, but I did want to hear your perspective on will this get back? Kayshawn's already tweeted about it, so it's clearly reached that ecosystem. But I'm sure it'll be mentioned maybe in the wide receiver room today. And if I'd look at Jaden Daniels and say, hey, we're gonna maybe get 7 rolling a little bit this week, especially since he didn't play last week. Yeah, man. Look, especially SEC games, if Southern's bumping their gums or one of these schools, it's okay, whatever. But SEC teams, don't say anything. Don't say a word. We already fired up as it is. Now you're giving us bulletin board material. There's a reason why the Belichicks of the world, some of these coaches, shut your mouth. It's hard enough to win anyway. Now you're going to give these guys fuel to the fire. You're just adding gasoline to a wood that's burning already. So, yeah, these guys are going to be fired up. I can't wait to see it. Like I said, man, I still remember the South Carolina games. Those dudes are bumping their gums at midfield, bumping. Who guys think you're so cool? You're purple and gold. And Moffitt comes in the locker room. He's throwing helmets through the wall, throwing chairs to the wall. It's let's go. I'm
don't do that, bro. Don't fire us up, man. We're already ready to go. So, yeah, I feel really great about this game tomorrow,
This
man.
is not like a 100 on 100 fuel that's going back and forth. It's just a comment about one guy on team, but whatever. But the more I think about it, and I wanted Jason Caldwell's thoughts on this yesterday, and we got him. He thinks that it'll be a really good environment to start. I think you're going to see a desperate Auburn team and a fired-up LSU team that's feeling a little bit confident after winning 3 in a row against 2 terrible teams and 1 SEC team. It's just a matter of who keeps that intensity and who imposes their will. That's really going to be the difference in the game. And my point from yesterday remains: if LSU comes out and takes control early, they may lay down, especially the environment may lay down. If Auburn comes out and throws the first couple of punches, I think LSU's in for a dogfight.
Yeah, I think so too. But the thing that makes me even feel more comfortable about that is this team has showed all year, even if they get down early, even if things aren't going beautifully in the first half, they're going to continue to battle till their 60 minutes is up. And so as much as we've talked about all week how important it is in a game like this, a team that's down, like to me, they're on one knee, you got to put them all the way down on the ground. Even if you do somehow start this game off bad and not playing to your level, I trust this football team to continue battling in the fourth quarter because, honestly, I just think the matchups you favor in most of the matchups in this football game. But going into that hostile environment, especially with the young lineman you got a new left guard in there, you got to start off quick. Don't turn the ball over. Make Ashford have to make some throws. And, man, things just I think it's going to go good for my Tigers, man, the real Tigers.
Yeah, I've got one matchup that does concern me a lot and could be the difference in the game, quite honestly, and we'll get to that next. It's Friday edition here of Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hours return. Phil Steele, Jay Ducote's back in studio. We'll see you Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour every Football Friday brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Contact our guy Ryan Shemp, former Tiger and Major Leaguer. If you're looking to refi, looking to buy a new home, looking for a loan, Angel Oak Home Loans can help you out. I teased before the segment started that, or in the last segment, that there's one matchup that does give me some significant pause here. And we feel really good about the future of the offensive line based on Dellinger's performance in the interior, and you're starting two guys that are freshmen at the tackles. But we figured they're going to take some lumps. And right now, you're going to go on the road for the first time. Florida State brought a lot of people to the Dome, no doubt, but you're going on the road for the first time and for the first quarter and change until, as long as they can sustain that momentum, it's going to be loud in there. And you're going to have Will Campbell and Emory Jones on the ends, and you're moving Frazier from the right to the left. So the question is, can they handle Auburn's edge rushers, who are really good players? Derek Hall, SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week for his play against Missouri. He had 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, had a 39-yard interception, 6 overall tackles in that game. He's on one end. Iku Leota is the other end. Both guys have 5 tackles for loss on the year. They're the only SEC teammates who have at least 5 tackles for loss on the season. Their edge guys are good, and LSU's got freshmen on the end, plus a guard that's moving around. That could be a serious issue for LSU. False start penalties because it's loud, not being able to hold up, giving up pressures that could be game-changing plays. That is a concern of mine. We were looking for one yesterday, and that would be mine right now.
Yeah, and that was I'm lock and key with you here. That's probably my only concern going into this football game. Anytime you have offensive linemen moving around and you got freshman tackles, this is probably going to be the most hostile environment. Obviously, you got a chance to play New Orleans. That's not really anything to really have to worry about, and you're at home for the rest. And so this is going to be their first time dealing with noise, not having false start penalties, being able to block on third downs and hustle things like that. And Auburn, that's going to be their best avenue to win, and I think they know that. They're going to try to get after these young tackles. They're going to try to get after these guards and try to get after Jaden. And if they can do that, maybe force a turnover, that's going to be their best avenue to win this football game. So when this game starts, I'm going to be very locked in to how those guys kind of perform in that environment, because I know that's their only chance. They know the fans have to be in it. They know this is probably not one of the best Auburn teams they've had in a while. So the fans know they have to be involved. And so if you can get involved, get this offense rattled early, maybe get a turnover, that's going to be your best chance to try to win this game.
There are so many ways, as you're well aware, to neutralize a fierce edge rush. You obviously get the run game going, stay out of third and long, draw plays, screens, use a tight end to chip. I mean, there's a million ways you can neutralize edge rushers. What is LSU's best course of action tomorrow to make sure that Hall and Leota don't go nuts?
Yeah, I think for me, you got to sometimes you got to see where the matchup is, and we call it so there's different names each team calls things, but sometimes you find the bird, find the rat, but it's pretty much saying find the worst lineman. And whatever guy is really struggling the most as a coordinator, as a defensive coordinator, you're gonna put your best rusher on that guy. And so if you're LSU and you see, oh man, Emery's struggling, like he can't block this guy, you got to get a tight end over there. You got to start chipping them. You got to start running some screen plays, get those guys flying upfield. There's a bunch of different little things you can do, which I've seen kind of Denbrock do this season. And then you can put the back end, as a chipper as well. We saw Leonard Fournette do that to Micah Parsons week 1 and just take him off his feet. So there's different things to do. The difficult thing to do is deal with pressure up the middle. And, a lot of times when you got those guys on the edge, kind of stopping you from escaping the pocket, and you can get pressure up the middle. That's why the guards that's kind of the little cause for concern on what those guys have to hold up in this game. But the middle is really the one that's really difficult to deal with.
And I feel like, and this is, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like with Jaden Daniels and his athleticism, his quickness, his elusiveness back there, if a guy comes off the edge and he sees him, you're going to have some time and place to move. If a guy comes free up the middle, that's a whole different deal because he gets there so much more quickly, and it just feels a little bit more difficult to evade. So Daniels will help those tackles. He'll get out of it more times than he won't. But if you struggle in the middle, that's a whole different ballgame because there's not a lot of help you can give the middle. They got to just handle it.
Yeah, no, it's not really helping. A lot of times in the middle, you can double team, especially if they're sending 4. So you can take the center off and help the guard one way or the other. And that's what you see a lot of teams do, especially with, when you got really dominant pass rushers up the middle. But it's hard if you got defensive linemen, and what we're starting to see with a lot of teams, even LSU is doing that. They're taking their best edge rushers and they're putting them inside. And those, a lot of times, those guards, they're just not used to dealing with those edge rush moves and all the different things those guys can do, from the spin moves to the swim moves to the rip moves and all the things of that nature. So, yeah, I think for LSU, you kind of worry about that a little bit, especially too in the run game. We kind of saw that Florida State game where you really, really struggled to really get the ball going with your backs. And so if you're not really getting pushed up the middle, that can really create a tough avenue to try to have successful offense in this football game.
And perfect illustration of, as my mic completely falls down, perfect illustration of kind of what we're talking about here. Penn State got that ground game cooking in Jordan-Hare, and Auburn in that game had no sacks. They had 3 tackles for loss, and Penn State was running it right at them. Missouri struggled at times to run the ball, and Auburn was able to pin their ear back a little bit. They had 4 sacks in the game and 7 tackles for loss. So, again, there's a lot of different ways Mike Denbrock can choose to approach it, but it's not as if no one has been able to slow this rush down. Penn State didn't allow a sack the entire game. So we'll see. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about this LSU team in that regard in this game. As far as Auburn goes offensively, we went through a lot of this yesterday, and I want to spend a little bit more time focusing on the defensive side for LSU and just how everything works out. I had a chance to sit down with Kerry Cooks this morning. You'll hear that interview on the pregame show tomorrow, and he was talking about the leadership that Jarek Bernard-Converse has given him. He had never played safety before, went back there and did it last week and played a great game. He moves back down to his boundary corner spot this week. And Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks are going to be back there playing together, not for the first time, just for the first time here in Baton Rouge. I just wonder how much man-to-man, put 8 guys in the box, trust your secondary to go to work they're going to do, or how much they just want to keep everything in front of them and make Auburn go all the way down the field and not make a mistake. I'm sure there's a combination of both of them there. But if you looked at the Saints game last week, there was evidence that Winston couldn't run. The blitz was on from Jump Street last week.
Yeah.
And so that was it was almost a sellout. And this, I think there's obviously going to be a combination, but what do you feel like is a better overall strategy? We're going to sit back, not let Bigsby or anybody hit a big play. They're not good enough to continue to go down the field 80 yards, or we're going to slam everybody up there, take the run totally away, because I don't think they can beat us with a deep ball.
I'm in the camp of make them earn everything. This is not a very great offense. The last thing you want to do is start blitzing these guys, and then someone slips free. There's no one back to get them, and they get a big play from that. Or if Bigsby slips through the line and there's no one at the second level and he's rushing for a 40-yard touchdown, make this bad offense go all the way down the field. Something's bad going to happen. They're going to hold and call. They're throwing interceptions. They're not going to be able to block. They're going to end up in 3rd and long. Make them earn it 3 the hard way. If I'm LSU this week, I'm mush rushing Ashford And I'm letting the middle guys get up the middle. Jaquaylin Moore, you got Jaquaylin Moore, you got Mekhi Wingo. Let those guys rush the passer on the edge. Maybe Perkins can get after him because I feel great about him in space. But no, I make that kid literally sit in the pocket and make throw after throw after throw and after throw. And if he can do that and beat us, you walk to the middle of the field, you shake his hand, you say, "Good game, kid." And you get on the bus and go home. But I just don't think he's going to be able to do that time and time again, especially if you can shut the run game down with your front seven, which I think they can because I love the matchup they have up the middle with Wingo and Roy. You got to make him earn it. To me, when you start blitzing, if he spins out of one of those guys, blitzing off the edge, there's going to be no one on the outside to get contained, and now he's running up the sideline for 40, 50 yards. So I make this offense earn it through the hard. We're kind of still in the Johnny Manziel game plan.
It's the opposite of how you felt against Mississippi State. You really felt like Mississippi State was very comfortable with a 13-play drive where they threw a couple of swing passes, couple of slants, ran it twice, and just methodically plotted down the field. They lead the country in time of possession. That's what Auburn's not that functional on offense. They got a quarterback who's brand new as a starter. They got serious lack of weapons on the outside. The thing that has been so shocking to me with Auburn is that they got 5 senior starters on that offensive line, and they can't block. And Jaquaylin and Mekhi Wingo, who's graded out incredibly well. Ojulari's coming back. He should be healthy after – I think he probably could have played last week. They gave him a week off, and then Ali Gay. Even though you're looking at an Auburn team that's got 5 senior starters on the offensive front, feels like advantage LSU in the trenches. And if LSU wins that battle, quite frankly, it's lights out. Because if Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter combine for 23 carries for 84 yards, Auburn's not going to be able to score. They're just not.
Yeah, it's going to be too tough. It's going to be tough. And you heard the beat guy from Auburn last week said they tried. I mean, they tried against Missouri. Like, think about what we're talking about here. They tried to get – that's the strength of their team.
K-State ran for 300 in Missouri.
That's what I'm saying. That's the strength of their team. It's like – it's kind of like Mississippi State's offense. It's like, they're going to pass the ball. Like, you shut their pass down, it's going to be a long day. It's like the exact opposite for Auburn. Like, they have to run the football. They have to get Bigsby going. They have to get Hunter going. They have to mix in Ashford in the run game. If they can't do that, they don't have the weapons on the outside in the offensive line to continually hold up and let this guy throw the ball accurately down the field against his secondary. So, yeah, for LSU more than ever, I think you kind of really rely on that front seven, which I think they can hold up against the run. I mean, if Missouri can slow them down, I think we got a lot of bigger issues in Baton Rouge if we can't slow this run game down. So, yeah, I feel confident in this defense and what they're going to do Saturday tomorrow.
I'll give Robbie Ashford credit for one thing. He's fast. I mean, he's not as fast as Jaden Daniels. He's a really good athlete. He is plenty capable if the play breaks down, making a guy miss, picking up 12 and getting a first down on 3rd and 8. Like, he is fast, and LSU will have to contend with that, and it's frustrating. I on the flip side, I think Jaden Daniels can frustrate the Auburn fans and even the defense a little bit when he gets free and picks those first downs up with his legs. I want to see him try to throw first, but that on the road sometimes you got to tuck it and go. But Robbie Ashford can do the same thing, so that'll be something that both teams will lean on from time to time when something breaks down or something isn't efficient as it needs to be. But big game tomorrow for LSU program-wise. And honestly, anytime you play Auburn, you want to go out there and win the ball game against a hated rival like that. I'm, as a fan, selfishly kind of looking at this going, man, if we can get Auburn, just beat them by a point. We're at a point where just beat them by 1 point. Get me to next Saturday in Tiger Stadium, big-time top 10 matchup with Tennessee. That would be really, really fun. But you got to take care of business against Auburn first. I want to fill you in on our schedule tomorrow. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock on the Plains. That means at 1 o'clock, you'll have Eagle 98.1 Game Day with Matt Musso and Charles Hannigan from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee. They'll be hanging out there for 3 hours getting you ready for the ball game. We will take over on the LSU Sports Radio Network at 4 o'clock. We'll be on campus in studio, so we'll have you for 90 minutes getting you ready for LSU and Auburn. We'll throw it to the Plains where the broadcast team will give you the call of the game. 30 minutes after it goes final, network post-game with me, Brandon Taylor, and Marlon Favorite. We're on for an hour. And then 90 minutes after it goes final, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, taking your phone calls from right here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. It'll be Jeremy Hill and Charles Hannigan. So we crank things up at about at exactly 1 o'clock, and you finish things up probably a little bit after midnight. So full day of programming here on the Guarantee family of networks. When we come back, we'll go through the NFL slate. Tell you what we think of the action on Sunday. That's next. Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford, check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Sure, you can go to the lot, walk around, see what you like, see what you may not, or you can check it out first online. They continue to update that inventory daily as cars move out, as cars come in. They've got new, they've got used, they've got all the information that you want on all those vehicles right there at your fingertips. And if they've got exactly what you want, give them a call, say that's the one. they'll have it delivered right to you. If you don't see what you want, they can customize a vehicle for you over there at Bayou Ford. 75% of their customers customize vehicles. 50% never set foot on the lot at Bayou Ford. If you do that, they can have that car turned around in 60 to 90 days and delivered right to your door.
Yeah, speaking of custom vehicles, go to BayouFord.com to check out the all-new 2002 Ford Expedition Timberline, tinted windows, ready to lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
$14,000 off MSRP? Quite good. Give them a call. Tell Ben Gagne and the crew at Bayou Ford we sent you over here at Hunt and Hill. Bayou Ford, the website is BayouFord.com. You can catch them at Bayou Ford where they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7.
Jimmy Ott, 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
New buy or refi, need a loan? Ryan Schimpf over at Angel Oak Home Loans is our guy. You can give him a call. Catch him on Facebook. Ryan Schimpf, you know him from his time in Baton Rouge and in the major leagues. He will help you out with your home loan at Angel Oak Home Loans, bringing you the open hour every single Friday here on Hunt and Hill. All right, you know what time it is. Time to run through the NFL games on Sunday. Got our tiers 1 through 4. 4, not great. 1, best football of the weekend. We start in tier 4. 3 of those games this week. Look, the Seahawks are at the Lions. I know the Lions are playing a little bit better, but DeAndre Swift is questionable. Seattle's got the second to worst defense in the league. This doesn't do a ton for me unless you're a Hard Knocks fan and you just love yourself some Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Got the Geno show and the Jared Goff show.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy were just talking about this. It's just the football games go so long when two bad quarterbacks are playing. It's just 3 and out. All right, 5 plays, punt, 5 plays, punt. It's like, all right, bro, like, what are we watching here? So this may look fairly similar to that.
If you think those two are bad, let me get you to the next game in Tier 2. I believe this is the worst 2-1 matchup in the history of the National Football League. The Bears are at the Giants. Justin Fields this year has been worse than awful. It's got to be really sobering if you're a Chicago Bears fan. Through 2 games, he is 23 of 45. That is 51%. He is 3 games. 3 games. I'm off. 3 games. 23 of 45. That's 51% for 297 yards. That is correct. He is averaging 98 yards per game through the air. 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's not good in year 2. Sorry.
Yeah, that's normally you see your quarterback take that kind of huge leap. You've been in the NFL for a year. You're used to the game speed. You know the offense. You've kind of been in that offense, and you want to see that leap. You want to see them get better. And just in some facets for Justin, it's just what facet has he gotten better in? And it's just I don't see it. And I think a lot of people, after 2 weeks, the Giants are back. It's just, no, the Giants are not back. Relax. Calm down, buddy. It's not. No.
I guess they are back. They're back to being terrible. I mean, if you want to take those 2 crazy Eli runs out, this is kind of what the Giants are. But Fields, they've been begging for decades, and I think they're going to keep begging because, I follow one of my guys, Mark Silverman, Sylvie on Twitter. He hosts the afternoon drive on ESPN 1000. And he was like, he was tweeting this week, I can't do another quarterback search. I cannot do this. And I look, I think you might be. It's not done yet, but in year 2, to be averaging through 3 games, 11 completions for 90 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks.
You can't win in the National Football League.
That ain't going to get it. Last one in Tier 4 here, Cardinals at the Panthers. Cardinals have fallen off a cliff the last 10, 12 games of regular season play. The Panthers showing a little bit more life than maybe we thought. McCaffrey's gone over 100 yards the last 2 weeks, but the Panthers' offensive line is not good. Batch-up of bad on bad. Panthers' offensive line versus the Cardinals' defense that's only got 3 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Cardinals, man. I just, a lot of buzz last year. They're rolling. They're 8-0, and it just seems like that fuel to that fire is it's getting a little dim right now. So they got to turn things around. I think, Baker, we kind of see how he's played this year, good, a little bit good at times, but for the most part, you look at it as a whole, just probably not that elite quarterback play you want to see. So I think for the Cardinals, it's a big spot for them to try to go on the road and win this football game. If they start the season 1-3, I think you're going to start hearing that Kingsbury, pitchforks. You're going to see some people like, why'd you hire this guy? He should have never got the job to begin with. Like, what are you guys doing? They got to win that football game.
Tier 3, second worst of the tiers here. The Browns at Falcons. The nugget here is on a gambling side. Both of these 2 teams have gone over all 3 weeks. The under on this one, 47.5. Browns at Atlanta.
Yeah, I see. Especially if we'll see what Myles Garrett, what he's going to do. But if he's not in that game, who's going to get after the passer? As crazy as it sounds, I think Mariota's actually been playing pretty well this year, based off of expectations. And the Falcons are a little sneaky team. You got to look out for. They got weapons on offense. They got Pitts. They got Cordell Patterson, who's 3rd in the league in rushing right now. They're a sneaky little team you probably need to be annoyed playing against because you're in your mind, you're like, oh, it's the Falcons. They're going to choke. Like, they're not that good. And they've been playing, tough football games. But I think in this game, I think the Browns should be able to win and get Chubb going, get that run game going. Amari Cooper's been playing well. So, yeah, this will be a, interesting game to see.
Have you gotten a look at Myles Garrett, just a picture or video of him with no pads on?
He got drug tested like 10 times last year. There's a reason for that.
If you're my Jeremy's age, like you've played video games before and you know what I'm talking about. If you're older, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it may be, and you weren't, you'll get the picture here. On the games we used to play, you could create a player. And you would make them look so preposterous. If they were a basketball player, you'd make them 7'7", 400 pounds, and they'd be like doing dribbles between the legs and shooting threes because it's a created player and you can just do whatever you want, height and weight. That's what he looks like. Yeah. He's a freak. Yeah. His arms are bigger than my torso, and I'm 40 pounds overweight. It's insane.
No, he's a freak athlete. When you see that guy barefooted doing windmill dunks under the goal, like he's just an absolute freak. There's nothing. Every person I know that plays with him, they stamp it times a million. Like, no, he's an actual freak. Like things this guy can do, humans aren't supposed to be able to do that. And then you pair that with the way he looks and how big he is and how just muscular this guy is. Like, Miles is just a different cat, man. Even though he went to A&M, like I gotta talk about that, Miles.
Still in tier 3 here. Commanders at the Cowboys. Dallas leads the NFL in sacks. And Washington has allowed the most. That doesn't sound good for Mr. Wentz. Pack a lunch, maybe an ice pack.
Yeah, look, man, Carson's been going through it, man. It's been a brutal stretch. And if you're an NFL quarterback, it's tough to go from one team to 1 year, one team the next year, one team the next year. Seems like it's shaping up like that for Carson again after this long season of the beating he's going to take. And, yeah, the Cowboys defense, man, as much as people want to clown your Cowboys, Taylor, that defense is advertised, man. I think that defense is as advertised. They're probably a top 5 defense in the NFL. You got Parsons getting after the passer. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is making a little comeback here. He looks like he's in one of those elite edge rushers again. Yeah, I think they're going to get after him. And Gordy's cousin, man, it's going to be 4-0 as a starting quarterback. I think it's shaping up to be
quarterback
that way.
Controversy. The Jets are at the Steelers. I think the Steelers' run is over. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. But hat tip to Mike Tomlin here. With extra rest, so either get week 1 of the season, bye week, or if you play it on Thursday, with extra rest since 2017, the Steelers are 16-1. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think when you talk about the great head coaches in football, I think there's no top 5, no top 3. I mean, even if you want to put them 2 or 3 in there, Mike Tomlin has to be on that list. Just being able to continually make the playoffs, Big Ben's out, this guy's out. They continue to battle year out, never have a losing record, which is, to me, in the NFL, just so hard to do with all the parity, all the roster turnover. Mike T's one of the best in the building. He got money making Mitch at quarterback. I think you give that guy to any team, it's going to be pretty tough to win. But if there's anyone I wouldn't doubt, it'd be Mike Tomlin.
Chargers are at the Texans. They got to win this football game. The Texans' pass defense has actually been pretty good. They're second in the league in opponents' completion percentage. Shout out to young Stingley, 44% completion when they had his way. Yep. That's been solid for the Texans, but Davis Mills has not been. So we'll see if the Chargers can get down there and win.
Yeah, Sting's been playing well, and he's been matching up with teams' #1 receiver, which I love to see from young corners, not being able to back down and your coaches trusting you to do that. I definitely got to tip your cap to Sting. He's as advertised as a top 5 pick, but for that Texans team, and we know you got to have a quarterback. I don't think they move on for Davis Mills this season. I think maybe they're tanking for C.J. Stroud. Maybe that's what's going on. Tank for Bryce. Like, maybe that's what's rolling around here for them. But, yeah, I think for the Chargers, so many Super Bowl aspirations. You just lose Joey Bosa seems like for most of the season. So you're going to have to find a way to win, man. That roster's way too talented for you to start the season 1-3. So first loss, I think you can definitely put Chargers on that list.
It feels blasphemous for me to put this in tier 3, but it is what it is. The Packers are at New England. You got no Mac Jones. You got Brian Hoyer, Bailey Zappi, whoever they're going to throw out there. Anyway, Green Bay's won 14 in a row at home in the regular season. I think that'll probably continue tomorrow or Sunday.
Yeah, man. I know my boy, Coach Belichick. He did a crash course, got his PhD. Now he's got his doctorate. That's all he was talking about this week. Just that mastermind up there, just knowing all the medical stuff. No, I'm totally kidding. But, yeah, for the Pats, that roster is already kind of bare as far as weapon goes on the outside. And now you take your first-round pick out of the mix, it's going to be very tough to deal with the Bears owner, Mr. Rodgers, and the crew. So I got the Packers there. I just think I don't see him losing to a Mac Jones Patriots football team.
We got 2 games in tier 2. It's getting better every tier we move up. Titans at the Colts. It's the Jeremy Hill special here. You got maybe the best 2 running backs in the NFL. Yep. Respect to Mr. Chubb. But these 2 are pretty good. Titans in Indianapolis. Can the Colts build off a good win last week?
Yeah, they have to. And I think they got a great avenue to kind of, not the best way to start the season, but that's why you play a full slate of 17 games. And there's runs in between it. There's momentum. There's going to be injuries. But if you can kind of get some momentum going, if you're the coach, you got a big-time win last week against the Chiefs, which, probably not many people picked them to even have a chance in that football game. So if you're the Colts, this is a great opportunity to beat this Titans team and try to get a W.
The life support special here. Broncos are at the Raiders. The Raiders are at home. They're facing a Denver team that can't score. If they lose, they will be 0-4, and they are going to Kansas City on Monday Night Football next week. If they lose this game, season over.
Yeah. No, I mean, I said it. I put it on the board Wednesday, I think. It's worst loss of the week. There's been one team in NFL history to start off 0-4 and make the playoffs. Do you think this Raiders team is going to do that in that division? I think that's highly, highly unlikely. I'm sure that the betting odds on that in Vegas, you can probably get a pretty penny if that happened because it's just super, super unlikely. So you got to take care of this bad Broncos offense. I know they got Mr. Unlimited running the show, but that offense just has not looked good this season at all. And so if you're the Raiders, you're at home. You got to find a way. You had a 20-point lead against the Cardinals. Let that one slip away. You can't let this one slip away. You got to get a win at home.
Tier 1 got 3 really good football games to talk about here. I think this is a debut in Tier 1, maybe never been seen before. Jacksonville in Tier 1 going to Philly.
Yeah.
Jags have the best run D in football, 55 yards per game. Well, prove it.
Yeah, no, Jacksonville, man, you got to look out, man. Trevor's playing well this year. And I know, starting out his rookie year last year, was just bad football. But can you blame anyone with Urban as your head coach? Got kicking people and doing God knows what else. Like, who can win with that guy? So, you got Dougie P now, Super Bowl winning coach, and it looks like he's unlocked Trevor, man. He's shown how, while he was the number 1 pick as advertised coming out of high school, and, that team's rolling. So, you got to look out for them. But, you got the other, MVP candidate on the other side, and Hurts. He's been playing phenomenal this year. That Eagles team, man. The more I look at them, they're a very, very talented football team. So, yeah, I definitely agree. This is a great game to watch. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how these 2 young quarterbacks play in this football game.
Bills are in Baltimore. Baltimore, I did not know this, is dead last in the NFL in total defense. Now, I realize the Dolphins went nuts on them there at the end, but that's not a great recipe with the Bills coming to town. I like the Bills to go to Baltimore and win the game.
Yeah, anytime you got a struggling secondary and you got to go face Josh Allen, who's coming off a loss, a lot of these quarterbacks, man, they don't like losing 2 weeks in a row. You got that bad taste in your mouth. My man Joey B sitting in his locker for 4 hours. Like, these quarterbacks, they don't like losing. And so anytime you're a Super Bowl contender, you got all the expectations in the world. I think that Bills passing attack, I feel bad for this Ravens secondary. But you got Lamar Jackson, who's been playing just absolutely phenomenal right now. Anytime a guy like that, playing for a contract and everything on the line that way, he's going to come out there laser focused. So this is going to be a big-time football game. I think both teams could really, they're going to feel really great about that, whoever comes out with that W.
Last game in Tier 1, the Chiefs are at Tampa. Tampa has scored under 20 3 weeks in a row. The last time Tom Brady was held under 20 4 weeks in a row, 2002.
Very long time.
I was 14.
Yeah, that's a very long time ago. But, yeah, I think all your kind of concerns going into this season, that they're kind of been on full display for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Is you got rotating offensive linemen. You got, Julio, who we know has been banged up. Seems like the entire back end of Godwin coming off that ACL. Now he's dealing with the hamstring. Not really the weapons you're supposed to have, and now you're dealing with a banged-up offensive line. You got, undrafted free agents starting in the NFL. It's rookies. That's never good. So, yeah, for Tampa Bay, I still think, kind of looking at the Saints now and looking at the Panthers and the Falcons, like, you still feel like you can win that division. But, yeah, that offense, it definitely has some causes for concern going into this Chiefs game.
All right, that'll do it for a look at the NFL slate. We'll take a timeout, close out hour number 1, our SEC gambling picks coming up at the top of hour 2. Don't go anywhere. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045 ESPN.
Do it. Sign up with the promo code 1045 ESPN. FanDuel's got all your favorite bets, money line, point spread, player props. It's all in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Tulane's catching 4.5 in Houston tonight. If you want to get in on that action on a Friday, sign up today. Promo code 1045 ESPN for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code 1045 ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues and non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who knows gambling problem wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
On Monday's OTB, recap the weekend. How did the Tigers fare in their journey to Jordan-Hare? Plus, did the Saints bounce back across the pond? Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour every football Friday brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Contact Ryan Schimpf if you're looking to refinance or buy. They can help you out with a loan. If you're an investor, self-employed, a tough loan, Angel Oak has some creative solutions for you. Ryan Schimpf, happy to help you out over there at Angel Oak Home Loans. Saints shorthanded over in London on Sunday. It's been Michael Thomas been ruled out. Andrews Pete's not going to play. Marcus May is not going to play. Jameis Winston very likely not going to play. We know Alontae Taylor's now on IR. It's a banged up group, but with Andy Dalton in there, I think he can run the offense a little bit more efficiently than what Jameis has done the last couple of weeks, really the whole season. And I think there are still enough options without Michael Thomas, Jarvis, Olave, Deontay Hardy. I think they can still function. It's just a matter of, is it good enough to beat a solid Minnesota team?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Saints. I see this game being really close, especially if the Saints D-line can get after Kirk Cousins. And the Saints defense is really, to me, they've been put in some bad spots this year, obviously, but they play well. And so if you can kind of slow this Vikings offense down, I feel like you got a great matchup with their offensive line, who I think is not very good, and you got to get Kamara going. But for the Saints, this is a game you have to win. Like, if you start this season 1-3. And you got all the injuries you're dealing with, it's just going to be constantly an uphill battle for the rest of the season. And it's going to be very, very difficult, especially when you look at the quarterback position. You got a banged-up Jameis, and then now Andy, like, if he's losing games, it's just no one's going to feel great about anything. So for the Saints, this is one you really can't let slip away.
Look, Philly is better than the Saints, but Philly got after Kirk Cousins. They forced 3 interceptions in the game, and you saw Darius Slay really neutralized Jets, and I wonder if Lattimore can have the same effect that Slay had and slow down Jets. And realize they got Thielen and Cook is going to play, but I wonder if the Saints defense can't force Cousins into some mistakes. He didn't make any against Detroit and against Green Bay, and they won those games, and he did against Philly, and they lost that one. It's not that simple, but you've got enough guys that should be able to rush the passer. Yeah. Get after him.
Yeah, and I think, you're starting to see a little theme with Kirk Cousins at home. You got the fans behind you, no crowd noise, everything's great. I don't know what they're gonna hear this Sunday.
Vuvuzelas.
I don't know what they're gonna hear this Sunday.
Liverpool chants. I don't know. I don't know who plays in there.
Yeah, who knows? So I guess it's to be determined how
Tottenham Hotspur.
Matter of fact, no. Now that I think about it, I played against Captain Kirk when we were there. He was a quarterback for the Redskins when we played in London, and we tied. So he can't even win over there.
No,
so
never won.
Yeah, let's pound the Saints here. Yeah, Kirk can't light you up, Kirk won't light you up. But yeah, I think the Saints D line, you got to get after Kirk in that environment. You got to slow him down because with pressure, we know he's not mobile. He's not going to really be able to extend plays and do things of that nature. So if I'm Cam Jordan and the crew, you got to get after Kirk Cousins.
Just a little tip for the food vendors in the South Louisiana I-10 corridor here. You really need to be running some Bloody Mary and champagne and orange juice specials over the next 7 to 8 days. When you got the Saints playing at 8:30 in the morning and you got LSU at 11 in the morning the next day, this place is going to need to be running on some morning juices. Yeah. So get those Bloody Mary sales and get those champagne sales cracking because people are going to need it. I've always kind of felt sorry for the Saints, not sorry, but like those diehard LSU and Saints fans. You know you are. A lot of you are listening right now where you got to have a Saturday night in Death Valley, whether you go or don't, and you got to stay up till 11 o'clock midnight, hit the sack, get up, kind of with those bloodshot eyes at times, and rev it right back up for the Saints. It's even amplified this week. And then, obviously next week LSU's got to play in the morning. So get those Bloody Marys and mimosa specials cranking, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be early. Look, I don't know how people live on the West Coast. I couldn't imagine waking up so early Sunday after Sunday after Sunday just to watch some NFL football.
Those 10 a.m. kickoffs.
Yeah, man, it's so early. But I think for Saints fans, you got to be up early for this. It'll be a good one for the Saints to win.
Shout out to Angelo Comelans bringing you the opening hour each and every football Friday. Take it or leave it at 2:30. Got our final pick coming up at 2:45. Jeremy's got something he's got to get off his chest at 2:15, but we'll start with our SEC gambling picks. We're both over 500, so hopefully we do a little bit better than we did last week. Sports Center's coming at you. Come back for a last hour of the week of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the to Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The NFL Players Association and the league are investigating the handling of Tua Tagovailoa's injuries from Sunday's game against the Bills and last night's game against the Bengals. Sunday, he was evaluated for a concussion before getting back on the field. ESPN's Marcus Spears.
This is an egregious human error, and whoever gave the test, whoever allowed Tua to go back on the field, that is the person we're supposed to be talking about, or the people we're supposed to be talking about.
Marcus Spears on First Take. Tagovailoa was hospitalized last night with head and neck injuries before flying back to Miami. Buccaneers wideout Chris Godwin and offensive lineman Donovan Smith will both be game-time decisions for Sunday's game against the Chiefs. Head coach Todd Bowles says wideout Brashad Perriman likely won't play, barring a miraculous recovery. The UCF home game against SMU in Orlando, originally scheduled for Saturday before it was moved to Sunday, will now be played Wednesday night, all due to the aftermath of Hurricane Ian.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One more hour to go on this Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. Appreciate y'all checking us out. We are live and local all day on Fridays. 7 to 10 a.m. off the bench. Then you got 10 to noon. Jimmy Ott's Game Time from Ruffino's. Hanny then jumps aboard from noon to 1 with Hanny Time also from Ruffino's. We take over at 1 to 3 right here. Matt Moscona 3 to 6. 6 o'clock Louisiana Prep Preview. They go up to 6:45. Catholic High Football pregame show and that broadcast at 7 o'clock. They welcome in somebody from Alabama tonight, so go get them Catholic High Bears. After that broadcast is done, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard until midnight. From 7 a.m. to midnight on Fridays, 104.5 ESPN is your spot. Our Football Fridays are a ton of fun. Speaking of a ton of fun, tomorrow, tons of fun. LSU and Auburn. I am really, really excited for that. But obviously, before that, a loaded slate of football in the Southeastern Conference. It starts with Kentucky and Ole Miss at 11 o'clock. Alabama and Arkansas are the CBS 2:30 game. And then at 3 o'clock on the SEC Network, Texas A&M and Mississippi State, all leading up to LSU, Auburn, and Georgia, Missouri as the nightcaps. But those three games in the afternoon window are fantastic, and we will break them down now. Give you our gambling update after an atrocious 1-7-1 week by me. I'm still hanging on in the positive. 19-16-1 against the number. Jeremy is 18-17-1. So both of us over 500. I've got a one-game lead on Jeremy. We'll see how things go this weekend. We start with the 11 o'clock game from the Grove. Lane Kiffin doesn't want a high school environment. He wants them fired up. Of course, the Grove must be cleared out by 6 p.m. Remember that, kids. But Kentucky is headed to Ole Miss, where the Rebs are 7-point favorites. This has been something that I've noticed the last couple of weeks statistically, having not watched every snap that Ole Miss and Kentucky have played. Both teams are the exact inverse of what we thought they would be based on the programs that their head coaches have built. Kentucky is having a hell of a time running the football, can't seem to do that. They're throwing it all over the place with Will Levis. They're having a hard time getting in the backfield, getting sacks, and getting tackles for loss, but they're still winning some football games. They're ranked 7th in the country at 4-0. Ole Miss can't throw it at all. Jackson Dart the last 2 weeks in 2 games against Tulsa and Georgia Tech, not exactly great competition, has gone 23 for 40 for 361 yards. That's 180 yards per game, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. He hasn't really done anything through the air. However, Ole Miss in those 2 games has run for a total of 624 yards. This is a ground-based offense that Lane Kiffin is running. It's an air-based offense in Kentucky where they couldn't throw it a foot as of 2 years ago. So these 2 teams have kind of flipped on each other, but they're still winning football games. Who you like in that one? 7-point line, the Rebs favored against Kentucky at home.
Yeah, that was a kind of a shocking line for me. I thought, maybe Ole Miss, favored by 3 because they're at home, but if you're gonna give me this Kentucky team that many points, I gotta take it. I think the Mayo and Coffee man, he's been throwing the ball really, really well this year, which I didn't think he'd be at 1,100 yards passing at this point in the season. He's been spinning the ball really well, and so really concerned about that Ole Miss passing attack. I think if you're a well-coached football team like Stoops is, he's got to put people in that box and he's going to make Dart or whoever's in there make throws, and so I'm gonna go with Kentucky here. I think if you're gonna give me that many points, I like how they played at Florida. I'll take the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kentucky as well, and take those points. It feels like inside a touchdown game either way. I'm with you on that line. I think Mark Stoops has the ability to slow Ole Miss's running game down. Now, if Lane can get the tempo cooking, he's got 2 backs that can do it, so they should have fresh legs. I've been really surprised and impressed by Judkins' performance, and we know what they got in Evans from TCU. So Ole Miss is going to try to run the football. They haven't been able to throw it at all. I trust Kentucky to score a little bit on that Ole Miss defense, and even if they don't win on the road, I think they'll cover the number of 7. I do think it's going to be a great environment in Oxford at 11 o'clock. I think they'll pack it, and I think they'll be fired up. They should have gotten that message from their coach. And look, Lane, when you play Tulsa, a lot of folks in the SEC aren't going to stick around. That's not unique to Oxford. It was a fairly close game, but that's the way that it goes. So we both like Kentucky in the early morning game. Fascinating game in Fayetteville on the Hill. Alabama heads to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Tide laying 17 against the Hogs, coming off that tough loss against Texas A&M.
I'm going to take Arkansas here. I don't like what I've seen from Alabama on the road, and to what I've seen from Texas so far, they're not very great. There's something about those receivers on the outside that I just don't really love. Do I think Alabama's going to lose this football game? No, I don't. But that's a healthy 17, especially for an Arkansas team who really felt like they let one slip away. And now you got Alabama coming to town. I think those kids, and especially KJ Jefferson, they're going to come out ready to play. They put a bunch of points on them last year.
Yep.
I know they had Traylon Burks. He was a big piece of that. But I'm going to take the points here again. I think that's just so many points for a team who I feel like is going to be pretty competitive, especially in that environment. I think the Hawks suey will be in full effect in this game, and I just don't like what I've seen from Alabama on the road this far. So I'll take the Razorbacks here.
You read my notes there. Bama on the road of late. Last year they went to Florida and won by 2. Florida had a 2-point conversion to try to tie that game, missed it. They went to College Station and lost. They killed Mississippi State in Starkville last year, but then against Auburn at the end of the year, they had an overtime win that they should have lost in that game. Then they go to Texas in the first road game of this year. They only win by 1 point. That's a 5-game sample size, and they've all been really, really close outside of a game in Starkville. Last year, as you mentioned, a 42-35 Bama win in Tuscaloosa. That's a lot of the same cast of characters outside of Alabama's wide receivers and Arkansas's Traylon Burks. So still got the same quarterback, still got the same coaches on both sides. It feels like there's a lot of similarities to that matchup. Question for me, can KJ Jefferson make some plays down the field with his wide receivers? He wasn't able to do a lot of that against Texas A&M. Can he do that against Alabama? I just don't think that Nick Saban is going to let Arkansas line up and run the football all day. Maybe they will. That would surprise me a little bit. However, I do think the running game is going to matter, and I think that Arkansas can play some defense against Alabama. I really think that Arkansas's defense can hold up. And if they can hold up some modicum, if they can hold up and hold Alabama to 30, you really think Arkansas can get inside that number. So I will take the Hogs as well. We're on the same page there. Last week we were laying all the points. Now we're taking points in the first 2 games. This one is fascinating to me for a number of reasons. A&M headed to Starkville, Mississippi, 3 o'clock kickoff on the SEC Network. Mississippi State is a 4-point favorite against Texas A&M. How you see it?
Wait, how many points you say?
4.
Okay, I thought you said 14. I'm like, whoa. You know how I feel about the Aggies, man.
I do.
But that defense, if one thing I can't disrespect them too much about, I think that defense is pretty good, man. I'll go venture to say they're top 5 SEC defense right now. But I have to, man. I can't ride with the Aggies, man. I couldn't be Jay Hilly, man. I couldn't be Jay Hilly if I ride with the Aggies. So give me Rogers, give me Mississippi State, give me Leach and the crew. They always switch up that one little game every year where they're like, whoa, what the heck happened? And they win this
last
game.
year.
Yeah, so I'll take Rogers and the crew. I like how he played last week. Got those Cowboys off from coming to Death Valley. So yeah, give me the Bulldogs.
I have to admit it. I have to admit it to the listenership. I have to admit it to you, Jeremy. I spent some time on the A&M message boards and listened to some podcasts this morning.
Okay.
Getting a little content. I have to. It was a relapse. It happens.
You did do that after an L, man, not after a W.
I know, and I just wanted to hear what they were saying, and of course, it made my blood boil. Look, they're going. Look, I think this A&M team, coming off 2 huge wins.
Oh, huge.
They're going to exact some vengeance on this team. And at no point in them breaking down the game did I hear anybody in College Station say, this offense bites. It was terrible last week. It was terrible the week before that. It was terrible the week before that. And it was terrible the week before that. Every single time they've gone out, the offense has been terrible. They didn't say that. They just said they're going to be more efficient and they're going to exact some revenge on Mississippi State. It made me upset. But I have to look at this thing and look at the full picture. And A&M's real strength of their team is the secondary. In terms of points per game, they're doing a great job. But App State ran all over them and controlled time of possession. Miami had two guys go over 100 yards, really ran the football. They got let down in the red zone and by Van Dyke. He didn't play very well. And Arkansas ran the football all over the place and gave it to them on the 1-yard line and missed a field goal. But Mississippi State can't run the ball. They're not going to run it. They're going to throw it. And A&M's secondary is really good. They're veteran. They got Damani back there who can really play. Their secondary is good. They tackle. They're in position. They're well coached. I don't think Mississippi State is in position to take advantage of what's been a bugaboo for Texas A&M, and that's running the football. I still don't think A&M is going to score a ton of points in this game. I think Mississippi State hopefully can put up a fight against A-Chain, but he's tough to deal with. So, look, I'm going to take the points with A&M. I'd be thrilled if I was wrong here, but I think A&M's in position to slow Mississippi State down a little bit, and I think that A&M will run the ball a little bit on Mississippi State. So I'll take the Ags in that one. Last one that we will place a wager on here for the purpose of this exercise is Georgia at Missouri. Dogs sleptwalk through Kent State last week. Missouri got their heart ripped out at Jordan-Hare. I don't have another way to say it, but it is a healthy number. 29 is your number in this one at Missouri.
Yeah, the Dogs let me down last week. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them to roll, but no, I'm going to roll with them again, man. I just can't see Missouri doing anything, man. I just can't. That's just a bad football team. And
I don't know how they rebound after what we watched last week.
Bill says all the time, bad teams, they just lose football games. It sounds so simple, but when you stretch the ball over the goal line and you throw it through the end zone and you're missing extra points and field goals, that's what bad football teams do. This is just a bad football team. And so I got to go with the Dogs, man. I don't care how many points it was. If it was 40, I'd go with the Dogs. I just can't. I can't do it.
We're talking about Koy Moore saying, I'm better than Kayshawn. I'm the best. And there's a lot of that in sports where you just say, I'm the best. And even if you're not. But I just wonder if there are enough Missouri guys who look around and go, Kansas State beat us by 1,000. We choked our brains out at Auburn. And now the best team in the country is coming. We don't have a shot in the dark at this thing. I guess not. That's not the way that college athletes think. But if they had any sort of reasonable mindset, they would know it's going to be real bad tomorrow. But maybe they don't know that. Maybe they don't care, and they think we're Missouri. I'm big and strong. We're gonna beat these guys. But anyone with a rational brain would understand it's not going to be good.
Yeah, it's early in the season, so I think you can still have a little more fight. But, towards the back end, it's like, okay, guys, we're just bad. Let's gear up for next year. Let's work on, see where we're going on our first vacation when school lets out. Like, you kind of know the tea leaves are everywhere. Sometimes your coach is probably going to get fired, which I think is Missouri. Like, what are we waiting? The clock's ticking, baby. But, yeah, so early, they may have a little fight in the first quarter. But I think as this thing goes on, like, I just don't see any way they have a chance.
What do you think Kirby's message was this week after they limped by Kent State? Oh, you think you guys are good? You barely beat Kent State.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. That's exactly what Kirby wants. Like, him and Nick are like lock and key with that stuff. Any little thing that they're going to point that out and bring it times 10. So, yeah, for Georgia, I'd see them coming out locked in, ready to go. And it's an SEC game.
I'm on Georgia as well. So we're both taking Kentucky and 7 points. We're both taking Arkansas and 17 points. He's got A&M. I got A&M catching 4. He's laying 4 with Mississippi State, and we both lay the 29 with the Georgia Bulldogs. So we will see how those 4 games go. The other SEC action of the week is Florida against Eastern Washington. There is no line on it. Eastern Washington's flying a long way into a part of the country that's in a little bit of a precarious situation. So anything to take from Florida, Eastern Washington? I literally don't have a single note on my paper, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing for me is AR. It seems like in the big games, he plays a lot better against some of these teams. He has no business looking absolutely terrible against. He just doesn't play well. So hopefully he can kind of switch that up. If you're a Florida fan, I don't care. If he stinks it up, he stinks it up. But if you're a Florida fan, you want to see a little bit more consistency from him. So that's probably the only thing I'm tuned into in this game.
Yeah, I won't be tuned into it at all. It's at 11 o'clock if you want to catch it on ESPN+, but I'm going to be locked into Ole Miss and Kentucky, quite frankly. So that's where my eyeballs will be. That's our look at the Southeastern Conference slate this coming weekend. Big day in the SEC on Saturday. Football Friday rolling on. Jeremy's got some things he's got to say. That's coming up next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana month by month here on Hunt and Hill. Last day, we've been pumped to tell you all month long about the folks over at Metamore.
Yeah, Metamore, an institute dedicated to the study and treatment of metabolic disease, and obesity, has been celebrated by LWCC as a champion of Louisiana. Located in Baton Rouge on the campus of Pennington Biomedical, Metamore is a one-of-a-kind facility joining science, clinical research, and variety of treatment modalities under a single roof to create a world-class institute.
Just not a lot of stuff in Louisiana that spreads worldwide, and that's something that we can be very, very proud of with Metamore. They started here in Baton Rouge and have dealt with the obesity here in Louisiana and helped people with their health results, helped people deal with it financially, done a wonderful job. And because of the great job that they've done over there at Metamore, it has spread worldwide. 2,600 patients in 2021. They hope to surpass that significantly this year. Folks over at Metamore truly are a champion of Louisiana, and because of that, they've been elevated and celebrated by LWCC. If you know somebody who has doing great work or a nonprofit or a business that's been an awesome jolt to life here in our community, go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal and nominate them to be a champion of Louisiana. Thrilled all September long to have told you about the folks over at Metamore. Thanks to LWCC. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Lee Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our final picks coming up at the end of this hour. We do it every single week to end the show. Live after 5 this afternoon. Jeremy and I will be out there 5 to 8 downtown looking for something to do. You can't beat the weather. Going to have the Michael Parsons Project playing out there. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. So free to come on out. They got a ton of vendors. Bring a chair, listen to some great music, and hang out in downtown Baton Rouge. Enjoy the Friday weather. We will be there from 5 to 8 this afternoon. By now, if you're paying attention to sports, you're well aware of the Tua Tagovailoa situation last week. Slammed to the turf and was real wobbly, jelly-legged, couldn't really stand. Came out of the game, went back into the game. They cleared into play, said it was a back injury. Last night, his head gets slammed to the turf. He shows the hands kind of spasming or locking up, if you will, which is apparently a serious sign of neurological injury. He was taken off the field on a stretcher, hospitalized. They checked him out, was cleared to fly back on the team flight. Mike McDaniel had a press conference this morning, said that Tua was on the plane with him. They were laughing, talking. He was looking at his iPhone, and he's back home now. Everybody has their take on it, but Jeremy, I just want to toss you the floor as a guy who has played at that level and seen a lot of this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, anyone who watches or listens to the show, they know I'm normally joking around, having a good time. But in this situation, this is probably one of the least laughing matters I've ever seen. And I've watched a ton of NFL football since I was a kid. I can't really point to how many times, I was as upset as I was last night watching that. And we talked about it literally the day before, like, should Tua be take it or leave it? Should Tua be playing in this game? And I left that. He should have not had any business being on that football field. And to watch – the NFLPA, which is one of the worst organizations to me in all the pro sports, they're supposed to be protecting the players. They do a terrible job of that. The NFL, I think, let Tua down. And the Dolphins, they all let Tua down. They all were lock and key and let him down. And as a professional athlete and as a player, you only get 17 times a year. There's 365 days in a year. You get 17 times to go out there and play. You're not going to pass up that opportunity as a player. And so, if Tua has anything going, he's got to go out there and play. And so, going back to last Sunday, he shouldn't even went back in that game. You started back, you put him back in that game, you put him in harm's way again. And I said it. I'm like, dude, if this kid takes a sack the wrong way, things can go extremely bad, extremely fast. I've seen player after player get knocked out on the field, and they take him out of the game, and then they do this, the most worst concussion test I've ever seen. It's a joke. I've gotten hit in the head countless times. You go on the sideline, you go on the tent, they ask you 2 questions. Hey, bird, dog, cat. Jeremy, what was the last 3 words I said to you? All right, you're good to go. Go back in the game. And it's like, People don't realize just how dangerous it is to rattle your brain, to get a concussion, and to get hit in your head again. There was just a boxer who died a couple days ago. He had a fight last Saturday. He died 5 days later. Like, this is not a joking matter, and you're putting the players at harm's risk. Tua, you don't know what he's going to be like. Like, we talk about CTE. Like, this is how you get it. Like, this is not a laughing matter, and so I'm really worried about Tua going forward. He's already not the biggest quarterback out there. And now they're going to put him back out there this season, obviously, and he's going to take more hits to the head. And so you could have avoided that. You're playing on Thursday. You take him out of this game. Now you got 10 more days of rest. You get his brain back going. And I think they have to revamp everything. The NFL, you just paid $1 billion in a concussion lawsuit, and you're still doing the same mistakes over and over again. This is just totally bad. Like, I just – like I said, I've never been so upset watching this. This is just, they let Tua down to me. Like, to me, I know he's a Bama kid, but he's a good kid. And I know he wants to win. I know he's competitive. He's got to go out there and try to play. I think the Dolphins let him down. To hear the coach after the game just say, oh, well, we're not going to put Tua in harm's way. Like, we would never do that. No, you did. He couldn't walk in last Sunday's game. And now you're trotting him out there 4 days later, and you're asking him to go win a football game with defensive linemen who are 2 times his size coming after him every single play. I just couldn't watch that. It pissed me off. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to be so upset right now, but I just don't like that, man.
I'm all with you, and I've never been on the sideline when anybody administered that or had that decision in front of me, but this was obvious to everyone. The physicians, the novice fan, anyone who was watching understands that Tua sustained a significant mental injury last week. Now, you can sit there and tell me it was a back injury all you want. It wasn't. I mean, look at him. And then, last night to see what we saw was jarring to everybody that was watching. And I understand that everybody wants to win and that your shelf life as a player and as a head coach, and even as it's just so short in this league. People get fired constantly when you lose games. And there's the motivation there. But somebody has got to step in and see this. The entire world saw it. And it was a talking point all week. It was on every show. And they just screwed up. They have put protocols in place to do the best they can. I think it would be a little bit disingenuous to say nobody cares about anybody. That's not entirely true. We can't diagnose a brain injury 12 seconds after it happens. We don't have the technology to do that. But there are protocols in place. There are people in booths that are observing things. There are doctors on the sideline. There are things that you have to do, and they just screwed up. They just screwed it up. And it's not going to be the last time they screwed it up, but you've got to do a better job than what we just watched. There are some injuries that you can't quite tell, and you might put somebody in harm's way because they didn't tell you about it or you didn't quite know. This was not that. They just missed. They just whiffed.
Yeah, and I think for me, the thing that kind of I don't understand what's going on here. The NFL, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they hired someone for every game day. Their only job in the press box is to look for guys who may have suffered a concussion. What were you looking at last?
I don't know where that guy was.
What are you looking at?
Out to lunch.
Like, do you not call down? Like, I get it. Like, he's their starting quarterback. Like, maybe if it's the punt returner and that happens to him, like, okay, we'll take him out of the game. Like, what are we doing here? And I just really think they all let Tua down. It's just tough to see, man. And like, that's, to me as a player, like, you want to get through when you finish your career. You want to be whole. You want to be able to talk properly. You want to be able to walk around. We all kind of see Muhammad Ali on the back end. Like, when you take that many hits to the head, you are never the same person. And this is a violent physical sport. I know we love the touchdown dances, the TikToks, all that stuff. It's violent, man. And you take enough hits to the head, you're never the same. And so I'm really worried about Tua. I know they're talking about him having a good time on the phone and all that stuff, but if he takes a couple more hits like this in the season, like when you see those fingers lock up and you can't move, like it only gets worse. You think he's going to get hit in the head and it's going to be better next time? Like, I think everyone let Tua down, man. You got to get that kid out of that game. You can't let him play in that condition.
Yeah, and I don't know if, obviously doctors are involved in clearing people and not for games. Jameis is going out there each and every week. Doesn't look like he is this week with a broken back. And eventually you look at this and there's got to be something that says you just can't. No, you just can't. You're either sitting for the whole year, you're sitting for a month. Like, and again, I realize there are doctors that say you're out, you can't play. That exists, but it all goes back to there's a competitive nature in all these guys, and then there are jobs at stake and a lot of money at stake and all that stuff, and it influences people's decisions, I think. And I don't know what Mike McDaniel knew last week when it happened. I mean, he may not have seen Tua stumble. He might have been looking somewhere else, doing something. Maybe he was standing right there. I have no idea, but they just failed.
Yeah, I think they just need to revamp the whole protocol. Like I said, I've been in that it's called a protocol. They literally ask you 2 questions. They give you 3 words, like just 3 random words. You spit those words back to you. They have a conversation like, oh, Jeremy, like the weather. Do you remember those 3 words? Like, come on, man. Like, there's no way that you're going to tell a guy it's concussed by asking them 3 words that they can remember. The actual test that they actually do happens on Monday, where you have to literally sit down on the computer, and it's a test everyone takes before the season starts. It's like an hour-long test. It's all these puzzles and all these words and all these things, and that's how you really know. And obviously in the NFL game, you can't afford to sit that guy out an hour. The game's going to be over, so they're trying to get you back out there as quick as possible. So they got to change all that stuff. Like, they just ate $1 billion lawsuit. Look, they keep doing this. It's going to only get worse for the NFL.
Yeah, and again, I do think that they're trying, but they just failed here, and there is no other explanation for it. It's going to be the talking point for everybody on the networks. And look, I think Amazon was in a tough spot last night because they're paying a lot of money to the NFL to be a part of it, and if you get on there immediately and just rip it to shreds, there's a lot of money at stake there. Yeah. It's more important. The people's lives are more important. But again, money always talks, and they continue to show it. They didn't talk about it. I think Herbstreit and Michaels very likely knew this could have been avoided, and they just kind of stayed silent on it, which wasn't awesome. Remind you, 104.5 ESPN and Acura Baton Rouge ask for your support in helping us raise money for Folds of Honor. It's a nonprofit organization which provides families of fallen or disabled soldier service members educational scholarships. To donate to this important cause, visit our website, 1045espn.com. This week, everyone who makes a donation is going to be entered to win tickets to see Greta Van Vliet at the Smoothie King Center on November the 1st. Donate now at 1045espn.com from Acura Baton Rouge and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Still 30 minutes to go here on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. We're going to take it or leave it next, and we'll have our final pick at the end of the show, Saints as well as LSU. Don't go anywhere. It's Hunt and Hill.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's right, free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045ESPN.
Sign up with that promo code 1045ESPN. FanDuel's got all your favorite bets, money line, point spreads, player props. You can live bet games as they're going, and you'll get updated odds for the games that have already started, and you'll see them change right there in front of you on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm looking at some lines for this week. Tonight, Washington and UCLA. Washington, a 2.5-point favorite on the road against Chip Kelly's squad. I like the Huskers in that spot. I think they're significantly better than UCLA. All this is on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN. Use that no-sweat first bet. Promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues is non-withdrawable. Free bet that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045espn.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the need.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
25 minutes to go on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. Hope your Friday is getting along quite nicely. Remind you once more about our schedule tomorrow, broadcasting on an LSU game day from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee at 1 o'clock. Eagle 98.1 game day will fire up. That's Charles Hanegriff and Matt Musso. They'll go 3 hours and hand off to the network. That is me, Marlon Favorite, and Brandon Taylor at 4 o'clock. We'll be with you for 90 minutes on LSU game day, presented by 3 Olives Vodka. And that'll be till 30 minutes till kickoff about 5:30. And that's when we'll throw it to the broadcast team on the plains. They'll have the call of the game 30 minutes after it goes final, an hour with me, Brandon, and Marlon on the Fighting Tiger postgame report, and 90 minutes after the game goes final every single week, Jeremy and Charlie on Eagle 98.1 game day right here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. All right, Jeremy, we do it every single day, but on Fridays, move it up a little bit. Let's play some Take It or Leave It.
All right, here. All SEC receiver Cedric Tillman from Tennessee underwent ankle tightrope surgery on his left ankle early last week in hopes of being not out for an extended period of time. Are you taking or leaving? Tillman will be available for next week's game against the Tigers.
I'm going to leave it. That's the same thing Tua did when he got hurt in 19. Certainly a lot different position. Mm-hmm. They can tie him, spat him up, tape him up, sit him in the pocket and see what he can do. Tillman's an explosive athlete, and if the ankle sprain's that bad and you've got to do that tightrope, I just don't think he can be very effective. I may be wrong. We'll certainly get a lot more reports on that next week, but certainly an interesting development as Tennessee comes to Tiger Stadium. Tillman's a hell of a player in that tightrope surgery. I mean, Tua came back in 2 weeks. He got hurt against Mississippi State. They had the bye week, and he played. But he was a little gimpy for sure. So I don't know what the severity is or what the advancements are. I went to law school, the same place I went to medical school, which is none of the above. But it doesn't sound awesome for him. Kevin Seifert, ESPN.com. Bold prediction of the week. Saints corner Marcus Lattimore will hold Justin Jefferson under 50 yards. We talked about that in our Saints preview segment at the end of the first hour. Jets under 50 receiving yards in London. Take it or leave it.
I'm leaving that. Look, we fade Mike Evans against Marshawn Lattimore. We don't fade Jets, man. This is Justin Jefferson we're talking about. This is Mr. Gritty. He can get 50 yards in one play. I know he got to deal with Captain Kirk a little bit here, but it's Jets, man. I'm never betting against my boy Jets. So, unfortunately for Saints fan, I'm always going to be cheering for my boy Justin, man. I know it's a tough week, but yeah, man. I can't.
Darius Slay got after him for the Lions. hands, and Jets had some struggles. Look, the Saints secondary is hampered a little bit. May is not going to play. Alontae Taylor is out. We know C.D. Deuce out the window, so that depth is kind of shaken up. But Marcus Lattimore's still there, so that's the guy that Jets is probably going to see a lot of. I wonder if Thielen gets loose a little bit. That's certainly got to be on Dennis Allen's mind to see moves into the game on Sunday.
All right, here. An independent panel made the ruling that Memphis head coach Penny Hardaway did not violate NCAA rules by giving benefits to prospective student athletes. Are you taking or leaving? Having a long-standing philanthropy to a certain school should involve you from breaking all NCAA rules.
I'm going to leave it. This was that stupid committee they've got. It's a shot of life if you're an LSU fan to watch what we watched with Memphis, because literally Memphis said, yeah, Penny paid for James Wiseman's moving company. He helped him out with that, and James Wiseman went to Memphis. And the committee looked at it and were like, well, yeah, you admitted to doing that. That's bad. You shouldn't do that, Penny. And those 3 games he played in, you got to avoid those. Those didn't happen. But, yeah, just carry on. Get after it. Go Memphis. It's like this stuff continues to happen. If you don't cooperate, they don't do anything. And LSU, they decided what they were going to do. Their decision was they were going to sacrifice Will Wade, which was really all we think that the NCAA wanted. It's why they kept the football investigation open as long as they did. It's why they kept the basketball cloud hanging over as long as they did. They wanted their pound of flesh from Will Wade, and they got it. So hopefully the NCAA now looks at it and goes, okay, LSU, you fired Will Wade right when we put the notice of allegations out. You cooperated after that with the investigation, and your self-imposed sanctions are fine. 2-year probation, you lose a couple scholarships, and LSU can play in the NCAA tournament should they qualify later this year. Based on everything I have seen from this stupid committee they put together that's already going to be dissolved in the coming year, your thought would be that LSU would be okay. However, they have continued to leak this stuff to 40 at the worst time possible. Wade had to sit out at the end of 19 and couldn't coach the Vanderbilt game, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. Then they announced it right before the NCAA tournament this year, and he's out the back door. And you coached tournament games with interim coaches. They always seem to do it at the most inopportune time. Hopefully all of their proverbial guns were pointed at Will Wade, and LSU is spared by this. You would insinuate, based on what you see there, that would be the case. But, again, I don't trust them until it's over.
Yeah, I don't trust them either. You talk about checks and balances in this great democracy we have. The NCAA is the exact opposite. Judge, jury, executioner, they do what they want. There's no consistency. There's no guidelines they have to follow. Like, what is long-standing philanthropy? Like, what? So our boosters get any booster to become a head coach, and hey, we can will and deal and do whatever the heck we want to do.
I don't know if we have any boosters quite in that position. Like maybe Shaq. If Shaq wants to come coach, that'd be fine.
Like, yeah, but
Garrett
come on,
Temple's
man.
been playing a while. He's got some cash.
Yeah,
he can throw it around a little bit.
Let Garrett coach the team. We'll will and deal some cash around, get some help from the boosters. But yeah, that was just crazy when I read that. That's why you let them slide. Okay.
They don't have a clue what they're doing. It's evident every single day. And 40 was so bummed out when Memphis didn't get any. He called it a nothing burger. He was bummed out. That's for sure when he saw that. But sorry, Pat. It is what it is. You'll get another tip from the NCAA once LSU's punishments come down. I hope it's another tough day for you, but that remains to be seen. All right, last one here. Kevin Pelton of ESPN.com made his predictions for the NBA playoffs upcoming. He's got the defending champion Warriors playing in the play-in tournament as the 8th seed. Golden State, the 8th seed? Take it or leave it.
I'm leaving this. Kevin, what are we doing, dude? I just watched Steph literally drill a half-court three, just didn't touch anything. Like, what do you think? His arm fell off? Did someone, like, cut Steph's wrist off? Like, what's going on, Kevin? Like, what are we talking about? And they're about to get your boy Wiseman back next season. So, no,
if he has to move, he's got to call Penny. We'll see. He might have to move across the bay.
Yeah, right? So, no,
Get
we're
two
not.
men in a truck on the horn. Penny, where's your checkbook?
Yeah, right? So, no, man, we can't fade Steph, man. Dude's gonna just drill threes in everyone's face. Like, they're not going to be the 8th seed. Calm down, Kevin. Like, I know it's, got some Steph hate maybe, but no, dude. 8th seed, that's just disrespectful for Steph. That whole team's coming. That whole team's coming back. Like, what? They're getting pulled back, getting Wiggins. Everything's coming back, and they're getting Wiseman. No.
I love watching the Warriors. What seed of the Pels going to be? Can they be like the 4?
I think, man, look, they were talking about it yesterday. If Zion plays 60-plus games, I think they can be 4 or 5 seed for sure. I mean, Zion looks absolutely ripped right now. I don't know what diet program he got. I don't know what snapped into him, but he looks like Zion again. And if he's playing that well and you got Beyond CJ and all those other guys, like, they're going to be a team to deal with, man.
I hadn't been to a Pels game in probably 4 years. I think we can change that this year. I think I can get out there and watch the Pels.
Steph coming to town?
I saw Steph. He got hurt. But as I've said this a couple times on the show, what I really wanted to see, the Pels weren't any good at the time, and what I really wanted to see is one of those Warriors flamethrowers at one point. Pels got up 20 at halftime. I look up, there's like 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, tied. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like, all right, that's exactly what I want to see. And then Steph ended up getting hurt. He sprained his ankle real bad and missed a lot of time after that game. But I did get to see that classic flamethrower. Most of the time when you go to an NBA game, you'll kind of see what you want to see.
Yeah.
When I went one time, I hadn't been to a lot of games, but Russell Westbrook was playing for the Thunder, and I went, and I'm used to the college game, and he kept like pulling up, hitting elbow jumpers, getting to the rim. I was, man, he's got to have like 25, 30 points. I look up in the fourth quarter, he's got 47. I was like, oh, okay. This is a little different than the college game.
Yeah.
That is take it or leave it for the day. I want to remind you, The Shed, who brings you the opening hour here every single Monday, is hosting an Allie Rice fundraiser coming up on Thursday, October the 13th. You should know by now, Allie Rice, the former Shed employee who was tragically killed on Government Street a couple of weeks ago. It'll be Thursday, October the 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tickets are $100, only 150 of them available. The meal includes grilled steaks, smoked baked potato, asparagus salad, and 2 drinks are included with that purchase: wine, spirits, beer, seltzer, soft drinks, whatever you may want. And a portion of all the additional drinks sold are going to be donated towards the fund as well. Additional donations are very much welcome on top of the ticket purchase. Those donations can be made directly to the Allie Rice Fund, ALLI, the Allie Rice Fund, at any Citizens Bank and Trust location in Baton Rouge. So again, that's Thursday, October the 13th, The Shed putting that together. So we certainly appreciate them for doing that and letting us be a small part of helping to raise some money there for a tragic situation. We do have one segment left to go here on a Football Friday. You're listening to Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Reliable Roofing and Construction, reliableroofingbr.com. On Instagram, you can check out their stuff, Reliable Roofing LLC.
Yeah, so happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
You're talking to, or you're listening to an insurance guy right here, and I know this is happening more and more over time. Insurance carriers are moving out of the state, and you've got to have homeowners insurance to satisfy your mortgage company. So if you're being non-renewed by your carrier and you need another carrier to get on your home, they may not if you don't have a new roof. If your roof is not up to standard, they're not going to insure you. So if that situation arises, Reliable Roofing and Construction needs to be your first call. Lionel Hayes, born and raised here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's here to help his community. He visits every single job site that his group goes out on. Every single job comes with a 5-year labor warranty. You deserve the highest quality of shingles, the best options. Reliable Roofing and Construction, it gives you that with that 5-year labor warranty. Again, go to the website, reliableroofingbr.com, to check out before and after pictures of their great work. If you're in the need an inspection, need a replacement, need a repair, Reliable Roofing and Construction is your spot. reliableroofingbr.com.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out neworleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Lee Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hours return. Phil Steele, Jay Ducote's back in studio. We'll see you Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early morning on Sunday, Saints and Vikings from London, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over there. Saints shorthanded. They're going to likely be with the backup quarterback. No Mike Thomas, no Marcus May. It's a shorthanded squad, but hopefully they can get it together. Your thoughts on Saints and Vikings with a pick, sir?
Yeah, sorry, Saints fan. I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all I don't feel good about this one. I just don't. I think for this football team, a lot of stuff going on. Guys in and out of the lineup. You're dealing with injuries this week. Don't love what I've seen from the offense. You tally those quarters up. It's hard to point to many quarters where you play dominant football. And so this week, I'm going to go Vikings 24, Saints 10. I don't think they score much this week. You're missing receivers. This defense secondary isn't what it is, and as much as you're gonna try to double team Jets, they still got Thielen, man. Who's gonna cover Thielen? And so, yeah, I got the Vikes, man. I got the Vikes 24-10.
All right. Hopefully Ramczyk holds up on one side against that ferocious pass rush that the Vikings can have. We'll see what Hurst can do on the left side. Dalton shouldn't be intimidated, obviously, by the moment. He ought to be just fine, not gun-shy like some backups in the league. You're going to need Olave and Jarvis to carry a lot of this load, and Kamara may get it to ton. I think Andy's comfortable checking it down. It's going to be an Alvin Kamara type game. I'm with you, though. I'm going to go with Minnesota in this one, 23-21. I do think it's a low-scoring game. Hopefully Lutz gets it together, and the Saints can get on the winning side of things, but I like the Vikings. So that's our pick, both with the Vikings. Here's our pick for LSU and Auburn.
Playing a team with the caliber of talent that Auburn has will present a challenge in itself, but anytime you go on the road, those challenges, being in a hostile environment for the first time, certainly will be a challenge for our team.
And the Auburn Tigers.
Can the Auburn Tigers beat LSU on Saturday? Maybe I'm bugging, but I've got a weird feeling about it.
Now, here's Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill's final pick.
All right, Jeremy, I've talked about the environment. I think it's going to be a really nice one for Auburn to start. I think LSU can take the life right out of that crowd because they understand their head coach is under fire. I think the emotion of the game can flip on its head from a huge pro-Auburn home crowd at night to a team that knows their coach is getting fired and a program that's going to be in restart if LSU can get out to a quick start. If they don't, they're going to have a fight on their hands. How do you think it goes?
Yeah, I got my Tigers, man. I said this all week. If all games I've talked about, we've been doing this show for a while now, This one just feels unjinxable, man. I felt this really great. Look, I'm sorry, man. It's just one of those things where I felt that since I've watched them play all their snaps this season. Just don't really love this Auburn football team and how they can attack this LSU defense, how the offense, how the rush defense just – I can't point to anything that just puts the fear of God in me like, oh, man, we got to stop this thing from Auburn. So I think my Tigers win this game pretty fairly here. I think it may be a little closer, and I'm not going to go they're going to beat them by 30 or 40 here. But, you know, I got my Tigers winning 27-13. I think they win by a couple scores. I just don't see that Auburn offense scoring enough to really, you know, put a lot of threat on this LSU offense. And if they score quick, we know how this offense finishes game. So I got my Tigers 27-13.
I thought Jaden Daniels was much improved last week. We'll see what he does on the road here. If you could tell me how LSU's true freshman tackles were going to hold up against Derek Hall and Nico Leota, I would feel a lot better. That's Auburn's advantage in this game if those guys can get up the field and rush the passer. If LSU gets a little bit of ground game going, I love the LSU wide receivers, and I think Jaden Daniels will start to cook a little bit, and LSU can score the points. Hopefully they're early, and you can put the fear of God in the entire Auburn program at that point. As far as LSU's defense goes, they should be able to hold up. This Auburn offense has been atrocious. 42% of their run plays have gone for 0 or negative yards, even with two really, really good SEC running backs because their offensive line can't hold up, and they've got nothing on the outside. None of their wide receivers have a touchdown catch through 4 games. LSU should be okay out there. I think Auburn struggles to go all the way down the field, and I think LSU chokes the life out of them. This is not an LSU pick. This is an anti-Auburn pick. I think their program is in shambles. Final score from Jordan Hare for me, 30-13. LSU gets out of there and sets up a big-time environment, even in the morning, against Tennessee next week. So those are your picks there. I got LSU 30-13. Jeremy, pretty much in lockstep with me, 27-13. I think that there is some serious trouble and some serious soul searching that's going to have to be done. Hopefully, Miss Harson already has the house packed up, because I think they'll be collecting a nice check and getting on down the road somewhere else, and that'll probably be just fine with them. That'll do it for us here on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. If you missed any of our show today, catch it on demand, 1045 ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home from 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Cade Wassan with all our high school coverage coming up this evening. Have a great weekend. We are back on Monday. Go Tigers. Who dat? We'll see you Monday. It's Hunt and Hill.